Here we are. Happy October, everyone. So happy you could join us tonight. We're going to cover lots of details at the front here, and then we'll hear from Karlee Owens. Let me share my screen really quick. Okay, is it going? Is it sharing? Um, okay. So we have lots. The calendar doesn't show lots, but we have lots going, okay? Um,
Hey,
all
hey,
right.
I'm gonna click present so that way it's like the full screen.
Yes, that was hiding. Okay. Oh, here. There we go. Okay, so Sunday night, there are opportunity calls happening. So mark your calendar, set the alarms, people who you're talking to in the week. This is a great part of like something that you could use as your flow or your system of just like, hey, I have a call this Sunday. I want you to listen to. If they're not able to make it, you can send that recording, but they're really powerful. Three people sharing, it touches on the opportunity. So just know that those are there for you. Um, and then we have a couple local events there. Northwest West Arkansas had one. Was that yesterday, I guess? And then in Boise, we have our Sips and Succulent party on Thursday night. I'm doing a sourdough like plexus launch party at the end of this month. So that is hopefully inspiring and encouraging you to get involved, plan an event, show up somewhere, create something because people are coming and it just it's just a fun thing that we get to do for our business. We have accountability and power hours happening every Monday night. We want you to submit your work by 4 p.m. on Monday as your ticket for that call in the night. It's really great. We have great conversations, uh, amazing action work to follow. Like we're really loving that setup right now. Then we have at the end of this month a Leaders of Leaders call with a special guest. And so that is for um, our leaders of our Rising Jewels team. And then we have some promotions you can see there. We have our Spice Pumpkin Lean that is being free for 100 PV orders through the 15th. So really utilize that as a way to follow up with people and share about it so that they know that's like a $45 value. And it's creamy, delicious. Like it's super fun to get into the hands of people. We have our Give 10 for $10 off. We have Save 10 for people who didn't order last month that you can then let them know that they have that code waiting for them. Our product of the month is Lean. And we also have our Rank Rewards cash in addition to the Christmas cash that we're running this month. So I love like you help four, you're going to earn $200. You help eight, you get $400. But if you look at those graphics here, that's with our pay points and the business builder bonuses. So that is like good chunks of change. So we're really excited for that to roll out and be sharing that with your customers, with new happy customers, new customers, potentials, all of that. We have our cruise credit still running. Emily has earned it, which is exciting to see her lead the charge. I know there are other people who are coming up when those double credits process with commissions here in the next few days. So that's going to be really exciting. I want you to chat or put in the chat if you had point growth in September, because that is something to celebrate. There's too many to just count here, but we want to see it and hear it. We had brand ambassador upgrades from Lacey Wilcox, Ashley Wilkins, Ashley Turpin, Brianna Johnson twice, Pamela Monteith, and Emily Burgess. So that is all really exciting growth for your businesses and your teams. We had top enrollers for September with Amy at 9, Emily at 7, Kanya at 6, Nicole Shoemaker at 6, Nancy Stevens at 5, Michelle Hardy at 5, Lauren Farmer at 5, Emily Sedvik at 5, Geraldine Zine at 5, Caitlin Rhodes at 4, Nancy Klatt at 4. Because that's amazing. That is so exciting to watch you all just be powerhouse women with your recruitment last month. Like, way to go. We also had some really fun rank ups to celebrate. We had Ashley Turpin and Danielle Strand and Geraldine Zine hit silver. We had Michelle Hardy go senior silver, and we have two new golds, Amy Stringer and Denary. I'm so sorry.
Close. It's Dayanita. Dayanita. It's close.
Daynita. Okay, I knew that, but reading it, I totally froze. I love it. You girls, you are beautiful, and your pictures here, we're so proud of you. That is a huge, huge accomplishment. All of these on those beginning milestones, and we couldn't be more proud for you, ladies. And then we have our 4x4 board that we want to have you put your picture on. There is a link in Rising Jewels under the post for you to put your picture and your name on there. You will, there's two-tiered prizes. So as you unlock your first brewmate, which are awesome, fun, like tumbler cups that we're loving that seal so they don't spill out with the straw. Liz has already hit her first one. And so she's going to go through, get her 4, and she gets her prize. Then you can unlock level 2s. And when you have 4 level 2s for your team, you'll get $40 Amazon card. And the intent of this is just really having more of a vision of building a team that is consistent and stable and shows growth. And golds under golds is like a really good visual for you. And knowing that like you're not doing this on your own, you want to have people there that are also reaching gold and finding that success. And that is like a really beautiful picture of your team and having recruitment and duplication. So the fun is to have those prizes with it. Now we are also going to talk about, oh, I wanted to touch on actions that we can do to recruit and to duplicate. Get into lots of conversations. You have a lot of happy customers. Go and tell them about the fun cash for Christmas right now. Incentivize them to host an event. You could say like, hey, I'm gonna gift you a bag of active if they're active drinker or hydrate, or maybe something like this brewmate. I don't know. Have something fun and say like, would you be willing to invite some people that you think might benefit from Plexus? I'll put this party on or this event for you. Get creative, you guys, and have lots of conversations about it. And then focus on your habits, especially as we go into the holiday season. Just really being disciplined and focused with your IPA timers, like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, on just really being disciplined with what that activity will look like. And then I want to touch on this detox group. So we have a 10-day detox challenge. We're going to form the group so you can start plugging your people in who are interested. I already have like 2 customers. One just signed a couple days ago, and I have another one who's signing because of this group. People are really eager and excited about it. You can, 2 of the combos to promote would be your triplex and trim and the detox combo, or any order of 100 PV will work. We really want restore. That's like the key component of your detox. But just know that this is going to be something very fun for our customers, for our people to offer. So we want to be promoting it every day. Know that there's prizes each week. We have our Lululemon, we have a Stanley, and then the grand prize will get some tennis shoes.
Hey, Hannah, can
And
we pause right
yeah,
there? I think that this is a really great challenge that maybe we pause and have people ask some questions because I see some questions going in the chat. Sarah, Joe, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? And then anybody else that has a question for this detox challenge, let's not skirt over it because this is like a really cool challenge that we're putting on.
yeah, I do also want to say have your people order by Friday, this coming Friday, the 11th, because that will give them a buffer of time for them to get their products. But yes, I'd like to hear questions. I can't see the chat.
So my question was, if we had somebody order at the end of September, can they jump in and be part of this group, or is it only October ads that can jump in and be part of this group? Because I have 2 that did the triplex and trim at the end, and I think they'd be interested. But like I said, I didn't know if that was okay or not, or if it has to be in October.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've had this multiple times, so I should have clarified. I am fine with you being like the discretion person on who comes into this challenge. I would hope that that person has a 100 PV order for October on, because we are only 2 weeks after their last order, but they have their products. So, I would encourage that person to have their subscription on for this month to run and get them plugged in because it is fun for them to participate in something like that.
Is there something besides taking their products that's part of the challenge? Like, will they have a checklist or
Yeah,
exercise or
yeah.
steps or water? What else is part of it?
We have a checklist or a tracker that is limiting sugar, carbs, alcohol, water intake, movement, and supplements. So it's similar to what we've done in the past, but since it's detox focused, our information will be more focused on that, information on restore, and we'll have the testimonies going in there, and then the tracker for you to post for that daily like accountability.
And
Any other
how do
questions?
people win the prizes?
So those details are on the Trust Your Gut post. Super lengthy. Everything's hammered out on there. If I remember correctly, if you have like 4 of your 5 days filled out, you can be eligible for the weekly prize, but a grand prize winner will have done 100%. Anything else? Okay. Go read the Trust Your Gut post. It is very lengthy, but it has like all the details on it. And then we'll be promoting, we're going to have some promotion posts going through there the rest of this week. So we are now going to hear from Karlee Owens for our team training tonight. Let me stop sharing and then take it away, Karlee.
Hey y'all. Okay. It's been a crazy day. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to go into details. But here's the thing. When Emily approached me about doing this, I was like, I kind of don't know what I want to speak on. And she was like, well, what are you passionate about? And I was like, consistency. Like, I'm really passionate about consistency. And she's like, okay, let's go with that. And so here's the main goal. Here's the main goal. Consistency builds trust. So if you are taking notes, that can be something that you write down. The whole goal of the training tonight is for you to walk away trusting yourself because you have proven to yourself that you don't break your promises to yourself. Like, the whole goal is consistency builds trust, and we're gonna keep drilling that hole, pounding that in. What is the that phrase, whatever that is, nailing that in tonight. Okay, so but I was talking with Emily today, and she's like, don't change what you're talking about, but this article is really good. And then she kind of like bulleted points some of the things. And like, it was so good. I'm gonna have her or I'm gonna post the article in Gold Diggers. But also I'm gonna read these bullet points to you because like these are really good. So you can, if you want to close your eyes so you can focus more, you can. But like just really try to soak in these bullet points, okay? Just really try to soak in. It keeps asking if I'm trying to raise my hand, and I'm not. Like my Zoom thinks I'm raising my hand because I talk with my hands. So, okay, first one. It took 26 months to build the Eiffel Tower. It took Da Vinci 4 years to paint the Mona Lisa. It took, I mean, I'm like getting goosebumps. Like, it just keeps getting better. It took Michelangelo 4 years to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Sorry, totally butchered that. It took Leo Tolstoy over 6 years to write War and Peace. It took around 30 years to build the Great Pyramid. It took over 40 years before Beethoven's Für Elise was performed. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you what that actually sounds like, but I bet you if I typed it in Google, we would all know what it was. Okay, last one. This is like, it took Noah 100 years to build the ark. Like, What? So just think about Noah and Beethoven and whoever was the person who built the Great Pyramid. God bless him that we don't have his name written down or her name written down. And Leo and Michelangelo and Da Vinci and the person who came up with the Eiffel Tower. Like, what if they're just like, I don't want to work on that today, so I'm not. And then I'm just going to quit working on it because when I put that piece there last time, everything else fell. And so now I'm just done. I'm just going to quit and I'm never going to do this ever again. What do you think? Like, we wouldn't have the Eiffel Tower that everybody wants to go see, right? Like, and think about Michelangelo. He was like, that nose looked weird yesterday. I can't get it to look better today. So I'm just done. I'm done painting. I'm done being an artist. I'm done. Like, think about that. Like, we can laugh about it because these people are like crazy talented, right? And it just doesn't make any, like, for us, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, to even imagine them saying, I'm never going to put that brick there because that's going to topple the whole Great Pyramid. Or, you know, I'm just fascinated by that because, like, what if they gave up? Okay. So consistency builds trust, right? Building trust with yourself while also proving to yourself that staying consistent in your Plexus business is worth it. Do you think it was worth it for the person who built the Eiffel Tower, for Da Vinci to paint the Mona Lisa, for Leo Tolstoy to write War and Peace, for the person, like, do you think it was worth it for all of them? Literally all of their creations are still around years later, minus Noah's Ark. Can't find that thing. But, like, do you think it was worth it? Say it's worth spending 100 years building an ark whenever the whole world was going to flood. Like, that was pretty worth it. What if he gave up? So I'm glad, Emily, I'm really glad you sent that to me because that's just so powerful. I could probably stop it right there, but I'm going to keep going. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not great, 10 being, man, I kick butt at consistency. Put in the chat, how consistent do you work your Plexus business? We talked about this before in Goal Diggers whenever I was team chat captain. I don't know how long ago that was. But, like, I really want you to be, like, super honest. Like, you have to be honest. Also, if there's, like, stuff going on in the comments, I'm not able to see it. And so unmute yourself if it's like, I need to say something. I just want you to really, like, sit and be honest with yourself, because if we can't be honest with ourselves in that, if we're like, I'm so consistent, I am, like, doing all the things, and then we're not seeing fruit, like, are you really consistent? So you have to, like, really, like, dive deeper. You need to stop, evaluate, like, am I being consistent? Is my time spent scrolling, or is my time spent, like, loving on my people? And so like, these numbers aren't for all these little boxes for us to be like, oh my gosh, Holly and Hannah and Amy, y'all need to, like, up your game. It's not for judgment. It's for literal yourself, like, being honest with yourself. Maybe you're like, I don't want to share, and that's fine. That's your call. But write it somewhere where you can see it. Like, open up your planner and be like, 3, I suck at consistency. Like, just be honest, because if we're not honest with ourselves, then we can't move forward and improve. Okay. You know, we love John Maxwell. 2 quotes that I came across today. So good. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. We will copy and paste that in the chat or put it in Goal Diggers. And then I got that from Emily, her favorite quote of all time. And then I saw this today on his Instagram. Little progress is better than no progress at all. Success comes in taking many small steps. Like, success comes from taking small steps. So maybe you're in a season of life where life sucks. And I'm really sorry if you have kids around. I'm not cussing, but I'm saying like sucks a lot, I feel like, or whatever. But like if you're maybe you're in a season where it's draining, maybe you're in a season where life has been turned upside down and you're like, what is going on, God? Why are you calling us through this? I'm about to share my story. Why? Why? I can't add anything else to my plate. I'm going to tell you, little progress is better than no progress at all. Success comes in taking many small steps. Okay, so next to that number, I just want you to like chew on this while I share my story. What is holding you back from that number being higher? So if you were a 6, why are you not a 7? Why are you not an 8? Why are you not a 9? Why are you not a 10? Why are you not a 20? Like, why are we not? What is holding you back? Is it fear-based? Is it confidence-based? I feel like everything can probably fall under those two categories, fear and confidence-based. Like, is it what? Like, just kind of think about that. So I am going to get to some practical steps, and I am going to interview Nancy because that's kind of like the goal of like the kind of layout of tonight. But I just had to share that all of that first. But remember, consistency builds trust, right? So when we make promises to ourselves, like I'm going to drink 120 ounces of water a day, and we drink 120 ounces of water a day, that proves to myself that I can do it, right? If I am going to close my move ring 5 days out of the week on my watch and I do it, that proves like I'm building trust and confidence in myself. Like, oh, I can keep doing this. I've got this. I did it last week. I can do it this week. Even though I'm tired, I can still do it. Like it just it proves to ourselves like, okay, I can keep my promises. I'm good to go. So consistency builds trust. A little bit about my story. So I started, let me make this quick. I started my Plexus journey in May of 2021. And then I literally told Kara Carrington in my driveway, because we live in the same city, I will not share. Don't get me. Nope, I'm not doing it. Absolutely not. Don't come at me. And I said this 3 times, and she, in the matter of signing up with Plexus, and she was like, I'm not going to make you, like, please stop bringing it up. Like, I'm not going to do that. And then within 2 weeks, I was like feeling better. And I'm like, clearly some people like people could benefit from this. And so I slowly started sharing. And I bet you like Kara was like, what is happening? Because she literally was like, I'm never doing this. And here we are. So that was in May of 2021. In January of 2022, so 6 months later, we got a very unexpected call from DHS. Some states call it CPS, asking us to take in our nephews. And so it was and it was not something that we thought we were going to do. The Lord had never called us to foster care. The Lord had never like said, you need to go to training to become a foster. Like it was literally out of the blue. Like someone calling you right now and asking you a question, and you're like, whoa, what? But of course we're like, yes, we will. And so when it comes to being in crazy seasons of life, like I know what it's like first, second, third, fourth, fifth hand. I know what it's like to be in a season where literally this is the only thing above water. For months, my mouth and my nose were the only thing above water. I was drowning. And has it been beautiful? Yes. Has God shown up in massive ways outside of Plexus business? Absolutely. But I just remember standing in our living room at the other house, because one of the many blessings that God has given us is this brand new house that I'm sitting in, is like looking at my husband and saying, but if I quit, I just feel like in a few months I'll look back and just be so grateful I didn't quit. And or if I quit now, like what about all those people that I'm going to help later on in life, like later down the road? Like, well, if I quit, like, and I'm giving up on this, like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to keep going. And it's like, okay, I quit. Oh, yeah, I didn't even plan that. Perfect. Yeah, it is a perfect shirt. I just remember like being so overwhelmed and like, I can only do that. Like, I'm literally drowning, like taking in 3 boys older than my 2 biological kiddos. And it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? You're like, and if you know anything about when it comes to the foster system, I learned a lot. They helicopter you to the middle of the ocean, they drop you in, and they're like, see you later. Here's your life vest. And you're just, what am I doing? Like, help. And so, and God has shown up amazing. Like I could go on and on and on and on and on about how he has shown up. But what I held on to during that time, because I remember going to counseling and talking about my plexus business, is that was something tangible that I could control. I had my whole, control is used lightly, but like I had my whole other chaos, but I can pour into my plexus business. Did I see much growth during the really hard seasons in my plexus business? No, I'm going to be honest. I did not see incredible, oh my goodness, she went from gold to senior gold to ruby and she's a diamond all in the middle of surviving. No, I did not. But what I saw, I maintained. Because I was pouring in, I maintained. And we know in this business, maintaining is just as hard as growing. And so maintaining is growing. And I was thinking about that today. I was like, dang, I'm so proud of myself, because when I look back during those moments of hard, like, because I poured into the business and I created, which I'm going to tell you, systems, which that, I know that's a woo-woo word and it's kind of hard, but like I created routines and systems to help take the mental load off. Because I did that in the hard season, it makes it really easy now. Like I'm telling you, like it makes it really easy now. And so that's a little bit of my story. So when I say that I've been in a hard season, I completely understand. And if you're in a hard season, let me be the first to tell you, I'm sorry. I'm here for you. I love you. And I'm really proud of you for being here. Like, I'm an open book. If you want to hear more, I love to like talk with people. And so if you're like, I need to hear more of your story, I need to share my story, please, I can call me, text me, message me. So that's the background. What time is this supposed to end, Emily? Because it's 8:29. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Okay. So that's a little bit about my consistency and where I feel like why I'm so passionate about it. So remember, the main goal is consistency builds trust. Okay. Keep that in mind. Builds trust with ourselves. So here's some just tangible things that I have done since 2022 to help me be some more consistent. Because isn't that like, we're here for like, oh, this is great. I love to hear your story. I resonated with it, but like, give me something tangible, right? So here we go. Here's some really good tangible things, takeaways that you can, that will help you. Helps me be more consistent. I hope they help you. And we can go into more details about this, but I have about 10-ish things. Schedule work hours. For the love, I'm terrible. I've noticed before I told you guys I was pregnant, so like fresh for like the first 3 months of pregnancy. And if you don't know I'm pregnant. I worked the nooks and crannies, and it was because I was exhausted. It was not good for me mentally. So schedule your work hours, share it with your power partner, write it in your planner. Oh my goodness, write it in your planner. That has been like the hugest thing. Even if you're like, I work full time as a teacher. This is something Ashley Wilkins, I'm going to share this. Hopefully you're okay with me sharing this, but this is something that me and her, I've been trying to coach her with, because she's like, I'm working full time and it's really hard. I'm like, girl, batch it. If you get all of your work done on a Saturday morning, you get all your work done on Saturday morning. If you get all of your customer care done on Monday power hour, and then all your follow-ups right at, like, batch it. It doesn't matter, but like, schedule. And if your schedule is crazy, talk to me, because we will, where there's a will, there's a way. And I have found I really love troubleshooting with this. So really love it. Okay, so schedule your work hours. Maybe that means instead of listening to music in the car on the way to work, you listen to a podcast. I know a lot of people, Sarah Morris is shaking her head. I'm a big fan. I am a troubleshooting queen. I really do love that. Love troubleshooting. Like in the mornings when I'm getting ready for Kids Day Out, because I work at Kids Day Out 2 days a week, I listen to a podcast if my kids will let me and not interrupt. But like you can find ways to tweak your current schedule for you to get the work done. So like when I say schedule work, you don't have to be like 1 to 3, I'm doing plexus work, and like save your training for that time. I save 30 minutes. This is when I'm going to sit down and do all of my reach outs and all my customer care. Then all the other times during the day and the nooks and crannies, I am listening to podcasts, reading a book, posting in my stories, writing my plexus post, or writing my other posts too. So like I guess a mixture of both, but scheduling your work hours has really helped me. Okay, second thing, I'm going to merge these together. What I did today for accountability / sharing plexus wins. So that is something that Ashley Wilkins and I have started doing. I've actually started doing that in my leaders thread. And just even if like no one else responds, it's like, this is what I've done today. So then it shows them or others like, hey, I've done this work. Or I share it with Jesselyn as well. Like, hey, this is like, we just bounced, hey, this is what I did today. I did this and this and this and this over a Marco Polo or a voice message or something, because that keeps me accountable. Because if I know if I am every day, I'm going to say what I did today to move the needle forward in my plexus business, I'm going to work. I didn't write this one down, but sticky note on my mirror during that time that I shared with that said, what is one thing I can do today to make a paycheck? I answered that every single day. What is one thing I can do today to make a paycheck? I either answered it to myself. I answered it. This is before Jesselyn and I connected and before Ashley was on my team. Did you hear that? Before Ashley was on my team. If I would have given up, Ashley wouldn't be here, leading 2 other women to rank up and going for gold this month. Like, I'm just, it's shocking. So, and I answered it to Matt, which like, he doesn't care, but I was like, okay, this is what I did today to make a paycheck. And he's like, great. It's like, okay. And so like answering that every day, honestly answering that every day, not being like, I did birthdays. That's not making you a paycheck. You know it. You know it. You know it's making you a paycheck. Birthdays are not. It's good for building rapport though. Okay. Incentives for myself. So like, hey, I really am. Amazon has been like all over my social media and it's working. Like I'm eyeing this. Like maybe if I sign 4 people this month, you don't have to wait for a Rising Jewels incentive. You don't need to wait for Brewmate. You don't need to wait for Amazon gift card. You can do it for yourself. Okay, Matt's my husband's name. If I sign 4 people this month, I'm getting myself a mani-pedi. I'm treating myself. Or I've been really wanting to organize this. And so I'm going to get the baskets for this organization, but I'm going to have to sign some people first. And so like just doing those incentives for yourself and getting creative with that. This one has been massive for me, implementing a posting schedule. I cannot tell you how this has worked wonders in my life. When I send my reach outs, I will vacuum. Is that incentive for you? Please come to my house. That's hilarious. I love it though. Yeah, send a reach out so you can vacuum. I love it. So implementing a posting schedule, and let me tell you this, it's like when we sign new people, give me 90 days. You don't sign a customer and say, like, okay, you can quit after month one. Like you ahead of the time say, give me 90 days. And so when you implement a new thing, system, schedule, whatever, give yourself 90 days to see, is it really working? I gave myself 90 days for a posting schedule. I tweaked it and I'm still doing it since 2022. And I'm telling you, it has removed the brain, the gunk of like, so I know every Monday I'm posting some kind of, it's been really good. It's removing the thought of it. And I know I'm like, oh, I don't have to scroll back in my Instagram or Facebook and say, okay, I did a post, a Plexus post, like, oh, it's time for a Plexus post. I just know I wanted to start doing testimonies because we know facts tell, stories sell. So I know, okay, I want to be more about the business. I want to be more about testimonies, and I want to be more about just products in general. So every Tuesday I'm doing a testimony. Every Friday I'm doing about the products or the business, depending on, what time of the month it is. And every Sunday I'm doing a business post. And so I know, okay, there's my 70-30 right there. I'm posting every single day, and I have like every day I'm doing something. And then I just sprinkle in life. And if you're like, whoa, you post every day, what do you talk about? Well, if me and you were to sit down and get a smoothie, because I don't do coffee, I know I'm crazy. What are the 4 things that you would talk about? Me and you, we're going to sit down and chat. What are the 4 things we're going to talk about, right? If it's faith, there you go. Kids, there you go. Homeschooling, there you go. Working out, there you go. Recipes, there you go. Your family, how you feel so strongly about your marriage, like leadership, like there's plenty of things. We don't need to get in our head about it because it is easier than we think. If you're passionate about teaching, or I've loved seeing Holly Stark's dyslexia posts. Those have been really cool. I love it. So there's that. Implementing a posting schedule, planning posts for the week, which is kind of like the schedule. We haven't done it as much, but Ashley and I have hopped on a Zoom on Sundays to do a planning session. So I know Sarah Jo does this. Does Rachel do it too? Rachel and Carrie, I'm not sure, but I got the idea from them. They plan out their whole week for who they're going to reach out to, who they're going to follow up with. So when they do, because they work, Sarah's really busy at school. She knows, oh, I'm sitting down to lunch. I'm going to heat up my lunch in the microwave. And I know that I have to reach out to Sarah Beth, pull her, Sarah Beth, Laura, and Allison. And she could just send a quick reach out while her microwave is going. And so, like, because she has that already planned out. It's not like, oh, who do I plan out? Okay. That one already said try things for 90 days. Because remember Atomic Habits. And if you've never read Atomic Habits, go get you Atomic Habits because it's really good. But the more you do it, the better you get. And so, yeah, like it's just very, like it takes the thinking out, right? Like instead of being like, oh my goodness, what am I going to talk about today? Or has it, like, it's just, I'm so stressed because I know I have to post about Plexus because that's my storefront. It's like, if you have a posting schedule, like you're good. Like, in your schedule, you're talking about Plexus 3 times a week. So, and in your stories daily, which is another thing too, to get in your stories daily that helped me. I started a story series. And so I knew every day I was going to talk about things I used to struggle with, but don't anymore. And so then I had to get creative. And then I was like, ooh, things that Sarah Jo used to struggle with, but don't anymore. I keep using Sarah Jo as an example because she's right underneath me on here, just to let you know. Things that Hannah used to struggle with, but don't anymore. Things that Emily. So I can pull from other people. But the whole point of all this is to create ease for yourself to help take the mental load off. Like, that's the whole point. Like, we can make this business as simple or as crazy as we want it. And believe me, you don't want to make it crazy because life is already crazy. We don't need to add more crazy to it. So if you can simplify it, like, I promise you it makes it easier. Okay, that's what I have. I have 3 questions that I'm going to ask Nancy, because when I think of someone super consistent, Nancy comes to mind. Before I get started, though, does anybody have questions about any of that? Do I need to repeat anything? Do I need to look at the chat? 46. Oh my goodness. Anybody have a question? We good? Okay. Emily's nodding her head yes, but she looks like she's typing. So good. Okay. Nancy, okay, I'm going to ask you, how long have you been working your Plexus business?
So, well, I'm Nancy. For any of y'all that don't know, it probably says Joshua on my thing because when I just connected does. At the end of this month, it will be 6 years. I actually signed up while Emily was I think in Hawaii on one of, or maybe a leaders retreat or something like that.
It was the
The
cruise to the
cruise.
Bahamas. Yep.
A leaders retreat. So Tamra actually helped me. I talked to both of them, but I got signed up, yeah, during the cruise end of October 6 years ago, and I actually started for the business, and so that's a little different than a lot of people.
I love it. Okay. So 6 years. So you're a busy mom, you homeschool, you do a lot of things, and I love it. You can share all the things that you do. How do you find time being a busy homeschooling mom to work your Plexus business? Like, give a kind of a rundown of a day in the life of your business, being a mom, but also not, I didn't add this, so I'm kind of adding this in, sorry. But like, how do you not like believe the lies that I'm just tired? Because oh man, that kid really struggled with this today and I have no energy to work my Plexus business. How do you not believe those lies? Give us a rundown, but also like weave in, how do you not believe those lies and continue to be consistent on your business?
Okay. Well, I would say like different seasons have looked different over these last 6 years. When I started, I was pregnant with my fourth, Emily. So things have changed over the time. I'll tell you right now, and then I'll tell you a little bit about kind of what it's looked like in a couple different seasons. Right now, homeschooling, co-ops, volunteering in youth group, like church, all the different things, having family time. It very much looks like there are about 3 days of the week that hits the hardest with my Plexus business. Like Mondays, I usually batch and do more work in the afternoons when it's like a homeschooling day, but we get our homeschool done and the kids know then in the afternoon, I'm going to be working my business. And then evening time, my family knows they hang out. Usually they're watching a movie right now or play games or do stuff with Josh on Mondays. So Mondays are very heavy Plexus. And when I say working the business, I mean those nitty gritty things of like the reach outs, the follow ups, if there's some customer care that needs to get done that hasn't been, sending those messages. And as well as Tuesdays and Friday afternoons are my heavier work times in that way. And then weekends, it depends on what's happening for that weekend. How much I get done on the weekends. But then those kind of the idea of the nooks and crannies, that is when I'm going to like at some point in a nook or cranny is going to be checking any messages or posting or sometimes too, it's like if someone does reach out to you, then like doing those things or scheduling specific phone calls or things like that. I really encourage, the longer I've been in this business, the more I'm like, get people on the phone as quick as you can. Because it's just a lot easier to be like helping someone order on the phone and you doing it with them. So, so right now, batching is really those longer chunks of time take less of the mental energy than, like Karlee said, trying to squeeze a lot of the reach outs or follow ups in the nooks and crannies. That tends to stress me out.
Mhm.
When I first started, and if you're new and stuff in like the learning process, like I had those original accountability sheets or the high five that they talk about where you reach outs, like certain number of reach outs, follow ups, customer care, your training and your posting. And in that early season, it often looked like when the kids all went to bed, Josh knew, like family buy-in or whatever, like I just sat at the counter and had that sheet and worked through that. And it was more like every 5 days out of the week, getting that done before I went to bed kind of thing. And again, then some other little things throughout the day, but really sitting down in the evenings and just doing it and learning it. And it's been a learning process over the years too. And other seasons where it would be like follow up Friday, or again, like maybe batching instead of trying to do the 5 different things each day. It may be like times where it was one day where I did all the customer care in one day and all the reach outs in one day, or follow ups or things like that. And then training wise, like right now, I've started running. So one of the best gifts from Plexus that I ever received a few years ago were Jabra earbuds, because that are like cordless or whatever, which most y'all probably have Apple ones or something. I don't know. But I was before just had like the wire things attached. And man, those wireless earbuds, if you don't have them, they are like the best thing ever for if you're running, walking, doing the dishes, laundry. That's the time to listen to trainings, listen to books, grow yourself in those ways. What other little and I agree with like Karlee said. I mean, now I've got a little bit more of a system of knowing which days of the week, but scheduling, knowing kind of when your chunks are that you can work. And having the family buy-in so that they're not interrupting you 10 million times, hopefully, or if your spouse or whatever, like they know this is kind of what you're doing, so then you can put it away and spend that quality time with them, not distracted. Oh,
Yes.
mindset. Tell me your mindset question part real quick again.
Just like, how do you, like, if
When
it's
you're
been a hard day, like,
Yeah.
how do you just still do it? It's discipline, like Emily said in the chat. Like, because it's been so routine, I know for me, it's discipline. Like, okay, it's been a bad day. I can at least do the bare minimum and then just know like tomorrow I'm going to double my reach outs, double my messages or something like that. But like knowing it's not just saying I'm going to do it, but actually doing it because I've built trust with myself. Like when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it kind of thing. But that was just like, how do you still show up even if it's been tough? Like a really hard day of either homeschooling or emotionally a hard day.
Right. Well, I think your mindset when you're going into, especially like if you're doing reach outs or follow ups, being in the right mindset is important. So sometimes that might look like listening to a little bit of something as far as podcast wise or, training wise, so that you can remind yourself, like hearing those things can be helpful to, even if it's just a few minutes before you dive into the work. Because that really does, helps change your attitude and mindset. Yeah, someone's saying diamond docks. And then there's some days where it's just like, maybe you just need to go to bed earlier and start again the next day. Like that's fine too.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing of like, sometimes you just, if it's because people like Emily and everybody says all the time, like people can read behind your reach out. So if like I am not feeling it, like people are going to be, if I did a copy paste, like they're going to know, like they're going to know. And so I remember a few weeks ago, I had a really tough week emotionally and I didn't send any messages. But then a Saturday, I like busted it out and it felt really good because I was in a better place mentally. And so knowing like you just get it done. Like we talked about, if you batch it on a Saturday morning, because that's when your husband, like Ashley Wilkins, like her husband is in law school and is studying for the bar. So like, okay, he's studying for the bar. I'm gonna do this. Matt's watching football. I'm gonna like, I don't really care about football. So I'm gonna send some messages while he watches football or play my post or whatever. Okay,
And
last question. Oh, sorry.
I think you'll be more efficient too when you're in your better mindset as well. Not only do you get more done, and then kind of that action cures things, like you feel good about what you've done. But if you're in like a terrible mindset, I feel like you maybe overthink things or kind of have that negativity towards what they're going to respond like or something.
Like,
but there's
I
also
have to do this. Like, if you have the
but-
have to do this mindset, like people can feel that. Sorry.
Yeah. But there's also a sense, there's sometimes where even if I don't feel like it, but I know this is my chunk and I want to get it done, it's kind of also that you're going to feel better once you do get it done. So that action cures everything attitude too, of like, okay, well, let's get started. And then as you're going, it kind of it can build momentum in that positivity as well. Like that's definitely another role.
And that's also like, I feel like people who lead the power hours or have done a team chat captains and goal diggers, starting out my time with like a diamond doc or listening, like starting my day as I'm getting ready with like a podcast or something, like is so helpful, because then it's like, okay, I have that mindset. I'm walking, I'm at the gym and I'm walking. I have this going on I highly recommend wireless earbuds as well. And like listening. And so then it's like, okay, well, I was thinking of this. And so I'm going to send this over to like a sideline sister who is struggling with this. But then also I was thinking of this person. So now I'm going to like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I know we chatted, so it just gets your mind in a better spot. I don't know where I was going with that. Last question. What is one, which I know you said you probably are going to share a little bit more than one. That's totally fine because I shared like 15. What is one tip you'd give us to stay consistent even in the hard seasons?
Well, I definitely think, being a believer, like just praying and having the right, like, I don't know, like humility and trust in the business is really a big in the hard seasons. I think there's oftentimes ebbs and flows in the seasons, and even things we don't even understand, like why, when you do a lot of the same thing consistently, why all of a sudden do things just go really well or momentum hits and then sometimes it doesn't, and so I think prayer and trusting and working, like all those kind of go hand in hand. I think in super hard seasons, I feel like I'm not a like post and pray, like you just post and you never do any reach outs and your business is going to grow. But when you're having a really hard season, sometimes just those people in your life, huge amounts of people on Facebook or Instagram, they don't know the behind the scenes, but kind of how you always talk, you kept repeating, like consistency builds trust. If you're posting and you're consistent, I've been consistently posting for 6 years, people will come to you occasionally, or you want them to be the one they think of when they think of Plexus. So in these last couple months, I've had people that have watched for years come to me and ask questions because they've watched and they see my consistency over the years. People that have even done Plexus maybe with someone else, years ago, that have, quit and they're ready to start over, they reach out to me. So even if it's really hard, show up. You don't have to show up like even as much of the personal life for your family, even in during those seasons, because sometimes it feels fake to be like, oh, here's this happy picture of my family, when you feel like, your life feels like it's falling apart or something. But you can still post testimonies. You can cut and paste and throw up those testimonies or product info or something that shows you're still there, you're still doing Plexus and you believe in it. So I don't know, hard seasons, I think that's really important. And then I think hard seasons, accountability, of course, is huge, because someone else, you're checking in on each other. You find that power partner, you turn in your forms with accountability group, you make those commitments to yourself and do it. Also, I think figuring out what motivates you. I think through Plexus, like I've realized like how much externally motivated I am. I wish I was more internally motivated, which, but I definitely, figure out what motivates you and use that to help you be consistent, whether it's a hard season or a good season. Like things like, I think I've shared my story before about the cruise kind of thing like that. When I earned that first cruise, that was hugely motivating to me. So yeah, those are some of the things, I guess, hard seasons. and
I love it.
6 years, there's been hard seasons.
I love it. Well, thank you for answering and sharing and being willing for me to interview you. I feel like we can continue to talk, but it is 8:57. So that's all I've got. Emily and everybody, thank you for letting me share and just trusting me with this. It was an honor and I love it.
Well, I just want to wrap up and just say thank you so much. I have so many notes here, and this to me is honestly, you guys, this to me is the most important thing. It is. Like, consistency is the most important thing. I have seen so many people come through our team and through other teams who are like incredibly talented, but they can't be consistent to save their lives, and they feel like they are on a hamster wheel. They're burned out all the time. They're exhausted. It's not fun. And they don't last. And so figuring out a way to have consistency and to find like joy in that consistency, to give yourself grace, to kind of like what Nancy was saying, like figuring out what works in what season you're in, but still showing up. I love what Karlee said about you've got to be honest with yourself. Like go and do a check on yourself, and you might be thinking about Plexus all the time. But when you sit down and you actually look at the work you're putting in, you realize, oh, actually, I'm spending X amount of time scrolling on social media and minimal, if anything at all, on my Plexus business. And I loved what you said about if we're not honest with ourselves, we cannot improve. And I think too, like in the article that I sent over to Karlee, I'll share it in the next day or two in Rising Jewels, because it was very impactful. It was from John Maxwell, but he said that there was some article or survey or something taken recently where it showed 4.7 hours out of the day people are spending scrolling on social media. He said, can you believe that? Like 4.7 hours out of the day, people are watching other people's lives and they're doing nothing for their lives. And I don't think that many of the people on our team are probably in that boat. But I do think that that's a really big eye opener, because you might be on social media scrolling and seeing other people's inspiration, and then you just kind of get sucked in that hole. And then next thing you know, it's been 20 minutes or 2 hours and you don't feel full because you're not doing anything, like Karlee said, to like grow a paycheck for the day. And so this to me is foundational. And I loved so much, Karlee, your different steps. You too, Nancy, your steps are incredible. Okay. But like one of the things I really, really liked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to mute somebody. One of the things I really liked was incentives for yourself. I think that is so important for us. And that's why I put that in there about the vacuuming. Like you don't have to go buy something. You don't have to spend money to have an incentive for yourself. You can tell yourself, okay, I'm going to send these 3 reach outs, and then I'm going to go for that walk. Or I'm not going to look at my phone at all when I wake up in the morning. I'm going to have my prayer, my quiet time, and then I'm going to send out these 2 messages, and then I'm going to go get ready for the day. Like you can make incentives to yourself that don't cost a dime, but really help you shift your priorities. And I really like how both of you, I'll end with this. I really like how both of you talked about when you sit down to work, not nooks and crannies. When you sit down to work, you're doing the non-negotiables with the reaching out, the following up, but you're doing your training in the nooks and crannies when you're driving, when you're vacuuming, when you're taking a shower. Like, you're not making that small amount of work time that you have to sit down just learning, because knowledge without action is useless. And so I would much rather every single person here get into action and then learn as they're in that activity than have this like perfected, like, I know what I'm doing because I've trained for 84 hours this week and not do a dang thing. So this was foundational. I hope you guys got so much out of this. Even 7.5 years in, I was like, oh yeah, that's a really great reminder. Yes, that's right. We do need to check ourselves. I need to be honest with myself. How's this looking? Oh yeah, this is really, really great. So I really hope this was inspirational for all of you. Thank you for making the time out of your night to be on here. Hannah, thank you for hosting and getting the PowerPoint ready and recognizing everybody. We're excited about this month. This is going to be a great month. Don't forget about the contest. The double credits should like be showing on your tracker in your back office around commissions. So you're probably not seeing the double credits yet. They will be coming around commissions. So thank you guys for being on. Thank you, Karlee, for leading. Thank you, Nance, for your awesome interview. You guys are amazing. I respect you all. Thanks, everyone.